The door slammed shut with a finality that echoed through the quiet suburban street in Raleigh, North Carolina, as Rory Thompson, just 18, stood frozen on the porch with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. His father's voice still rang in his ears. "No son of mine will live like that. Get out and don't come back." In that moment, the world Rory knew shattered. But what stung deepest was his sister Emily's silence. Her eyes averted as she let their parents cast him into the night without a single word of defense. Rory stumbled down the steps, the cool autumn air biting at his skin. But the real chill came from within. He had come out to his family that evening over dinner, hoping for understanding, maybe even acceptance in the so-called progressive era of 2010. Instead, his revelation ignited a firestorm. His mother weeping about eternal damnation, his father ranting about family shame, and Emily, his once confidant, sitting there like a statue, her betrayal cutting sharper than any words. By dawn, Rory was on a bus headed to New York City, the only place he could think of where a gay kid from the South might blend in and survive. He had $50 in his pocket, a fake ID from a high school prank, and a heart heavy with questions. Why hadn't Emily spoken up? They had shared everything, late-night talks about dreams, secrets about crushes. She knew about his feelings for boys long before anyone else, yet she chose the family's side, or worse, no side at all. In the bustling chaos of Manhattan, Rory found refuge in a youth shelter for LGBTQ+ runaways. The counselors there were kind, but the stories he heard from others hardened him. Kids disowned, beaten, left for dead. He vowed not to let bitterness consume him, channeling his pain into survival. He got a job bussing tables at a diner in Hell's Kitchen, where the owner, a gruff but empathetic man named Marco, saw potential in the quiet Southern boy. Marco became a mentor, introducing Rory to the vibrant gay community that thrived despite the shadows of prejudice. It was there, at a support group meeting, that Rory met Jordan Reyes, a confident graphic designer with a warm smile and eyes that seemed to see right through Rory's defenses. Jordan was 22, openly gay, and unapologetic about it. Their first conversation sparked over shared laughs about bad coming-out stories, but it quickly deepened into something real. As weeks turned to months, Rory and Jordan's bond grew. Late-night walks along the Hudson River, where Jordan shared his own history of family rejection from a conservative Latino household in Queens, made Rory feel less alone. "Family isn't always blood," Jordan said one evening, his hand brushing Rory's. "Sometimes, it's the people who choose you." For the first time since that fateful night, Rory allowed himself to hope, to love without fear of judgment. But back in Raleigh, life moved on without him. Emily, now 20, buried her guilt under layers of normalcy. She excelled in college, studying psychology at UNC, ironically drawn to understanding the human mind after witnessing her brother's expulsion. Their parents, staunch Baptists, pretended Rory never existed, removing his photos from the walls, his name from conversations. Emily's silence that night haunted her. She had frozen, terrified of losing her place in the family too. Regret festered, but pride kept her from reaching out. Years passed. Rory built a life in New York. By 2015, he had graduated from community college with a degree in social work, inspired by the shelter that saved him. Jordan and he moved in together, their apartment a sanctuary of laughter and quiet intimacy. They attended pride parades, advocated for LGBTQ+ rights, and even volunteered at the same shelter where Rory once sought help. But the scar from his family's rejection never fully healed. He blocked their numbers, erased Raleigh from his maps, convinced that closure meant moving forward without looking back. Emily, meanwhile, graduated and landed a job as a counselor in a local clinic. She dated sporadically, but relationships fizzled under the weight of her unresolved past. One night, scrolling through social media, she stumbled upon a photo of Rory at a pride event, arm around a handsome man, Jordan. Her heart twisted. He looked happy, transformed. She typed a message, deleted it, typed again. Finally, she hit send. "Rory, it's Emily. I miss you. I'm sorry." But it bounced back, blocked. The message's failure ignited a spark in Emily. She began questioning her family's values, attending secret support groups for allies of LGBTQ+ individuals. There, she learned about the damage of silence, the complicity in oppression. But her awakening came too late for easy redemption. In 2018, their father suffered a heart attack, forcing the family to confront their fractures. On his hospital bed, he muttered regrets about Rory, but pride held his tongue from apology. Emily pushed for reconciliation, but her mother shut it down. He's chosen his path. Rory received a cryptic email from an unknown address that year. Emily's work account. It detailed their father's illness, pleading for him to come home. Jordan urged caution. They hurt you once. Don't let them do it again. But Rory felt a pull, not for his parents, but for the sister he once adored. He replied curtly, "What do you want from me?" Her response poured out years of suppressed emotion. Apologies, explanations, a desperate need for forgiveness. Their reunion was tentative, arranged in a neutral coffee shop in Philadelphia, midway between their worlds. Emily arrived early, nerves frayed. When Rory walked in, taller, more assured, with Jordan by his side for support, she nearly broke. Tears flowed as she admitted her cowardice. "I was scared, Rory. I thought if I spoke up, I'd lose everything too. But I lost you anyway." Rory listened, his face a mask of controlled emotion. Jordan squeezed his hand under the table, a silent reminder of the life he'd built. Forgiveness didn't come easily. Rory shared his struggles. The homelessness, the isolation, the therapy sessions to unpack the trauma. Emily absorbed it all, vowing to make amends. She invited him to visit Raleigh, but he declined. "I'm not ready for that battlefield." Instead, they began slow communication, texts, calls, rebuilding brick by brick. Jordan watched warily, supportive but protective, knowing how fragile Rory's peace was. Back home, Emily confronted her parents. "Rory is my brother, and I won't erase him anymore," she declared one dinner. The argument exploded, accusations of betrayal, threats of disownment. Her father, weakened but stubborn, called her ungrateful. Her mother wept about family unity. Emily stood firm, packing a bag that night, echoing Rory's exit years before. She moved to an apartment in Chapel Hill, cutting ties temporarily to find her own path. The distance forced reflection on all sides. Rory, with Jordan's encouragement, began therapy focused on family dynamics. He realized his anger wasn't just at Emily's silence, but at the societal pressures that bred such fear. In America, where marriage equality had passed in 2015, progress coexisted with deep-seated bigotry, especially in the South. Jordan, ever the optimist, planned a surprise trip to San Francisco for their anniversary, a city of acceptance where they could dream of a future unmarred by past ghosts. But fate intervened cruelly. In 2020, amid the pandemic, Emily contracted COVID-19 while volunteering at a clinic. Her condition worsened rapidly, landing her in ICU. Isolated and scared, she called Rory. "I need you, brother. Please." The plea shattered his resolve. Despite Jordan's worries about travel risks and emotional toll, Rory booked a flight to Raleigh, masking his fear with determination. "She chose me now," he told Jordan. "I have to choose her back." Arriving at the hospital, Rory faced his parents for the first time in a decade. The encounter was tense. His father's eyes widened in shock. His mother averted her gaze. "What are you doing here?" his father growled. Rory stood tall. "I'm here for Emily, not for you." The words hung heavy, a declaration of boundaries hard-won. Inside Emily's room, tubes and monitors beeping, Rory held her hand. She whispered apologies again, but he shushed her. "We're past that. Tell me how to help." As days blurred, Rory advocated for her care, drawing on his social work experience. His parents watched from afar, their prejudices cracking under the weight of crisis. Jordan joined via video calls, offering love and levity, reminding Rory of the strength in chosen family. Emily pulled through, but recovery was slow. In those weeks, conversations deepened. She shared her journey to allyship, the books she'd read, the friends she'd made in the LGBTQ+ community. Rory opened up about Jordan, their life together, the joy amid the pain. One evening, their father approached Rory in the waiting room. "I was wrong. Can you ever forgive me?" Rory paused, emotions swirling. "Forgiveness is earned, Dad. Start by accepting who I am." The family teetered on the edge of reconciliation. Emily's illness became the catalyst, forcing confrontations long avoided. But choices had consequences. Rory's return reopened wounds, stirring debates about morality, faith, and love. Jordan flew down when Emily was discharged, meeting the family for the first time. Tension simmered. His parents struggled with seeing their son happy with another man. Emily, grateful but changed, pushed for therapy as a family. "We've all paid prices," she said. "Let's not pay more." Rory agreed, but with conditions: no erasure, no judgment. Jordan supported him, their bond a beacon through the storm. As months passed, healing began unevenly. Rory visited more, bridging worlds. But the path was fraught. Protests against anti-LGBTQ+ bills in North Carolina reminded him of ongoing battles. One night, after a heated family dinner where old prejudices surfaced, Rory confided in Jordan. "Is this worth it? The pain?" Jordan held him. "Only you decide the price of peace." Emily thrived post-recovery, becoming an advocate herself. She spoke at local events, crediting Rory's courage. Their bond strengthened, but scars remained. In 2022, when Rory and Jordan announced their engagement, the family's response tested everything. His parents attended the small ceremony in New York, a tentative step forward. Emily was maid of honor, tears of joy mixing with remorse. Yet not all endings were tidy. Backlash from extended family rippled, disinvitations, whispers of sin. Rory faced his own internal conflicts. Had he compromised too much? Jordan grounded him. "Love isn't about perfection. It's about choice." The story culminated in a quiet moment. Rory and Emily walking through their childhood neighborhood. "I hurt you worst by doing nothing," she said. He nodded. "And I vanished, leaving you to carry the guilt. We both paid." They hugged, a fragile piece forged from ashes. But was forgiveness always the right choice, or did it sometimes enable the unforgivable?